Hello everyone, welcome to our ProdLib webinar for manufacturers. We are here today with Janne. He will walk us through ProdLib and see how manufacturers can have high quality BIM objects and how the designers use them in their work. Just a few notes before we begin. The chat box is open and feel free to ask any questions. We will get back to them in the end of the webinar, or if there's not time, so then later on by email. There's also a short poll at some point in the beginning of the webinar. We'll see when. Feel free to just answer what as you see fit, and after the webinar, there's a short survey for you. But yeah, without further ado, I will let Janne continue.
Thanks, Henrika. So I hope that my screen is visible and the audio is working, and hopefully I don't terminate the meeting in the middle of, or the webinar in the middle of some accidental clicks. But welcome to the webinar from my behalf. I'm trying to show today shortly a bit that how can ProdLib help manufacturers to read designers and why should they do it, and also a bit that why does it differentiate from different other services or sharing files from your own web pages. But without any further delays, let's get going. I will bore you a bit with a couple of slides in the beginning, but then mainly showing in real life that how the things work and what can we do. So this is a bit of an agenda for now. Welcome, done. You're most welcome. I'll show a bit about ProdLib in brief, of our history, then trying to answer a bit of the questions that why to support the designers and the specifiers, how does it actually work, and also about the usage and so on. So a bit of an overview. And as Henrika said, if you have any questions at any point of time, please type them into the poll, not in the poll, but into the chat. We'll try to answer something at least. And or then contact us with the email or phone, and we'll try to help the best we can. But just a brief description. What is ProdLib? I will actually, hopefully this jumps to our web page, so it does. So what we do is that we try to connect manufacturing industry or different brands. It might be that you are a distributor of some product, and so connect you with the designers who are working every day with the building projects and trying to find information about available services and products. So what we do is that we create lots of BIM and CAD content for our customers. The main thing is about sharing it. So we share it to the designers in multiple ways. And of course, the target would be that it would actually bring a business value for you as a manufacturer. But one of the core things what we have is that everything that we have done and we have developed, the designer is in the center. We need to make sure that the designer's work is as easy as possible, because if we can support that workflow, then we know that they will use the products. And I think we have a quite good examples of that one already that we can show. But yeah, that's in short. We try to help manufacturers to reach designers and share them information about the brilliant and solutions that you are developing and trying to push to the market. But let's close that one again and jump to the couple of more things. No, not that one. I want to go forward. No, not that one either. So here, yeah. So a bit of a short history about ProdLib. ProdLib was founded 2013. I'm one of the co-founders with my colleagues Kim and Eva. So we were 3 persons starting it, and the idea was, as I said, trying to connect designers and manufacturers. It was strongly built actually based on the requirements of our first customer, which was Peikko Group from Lahti. They had a need to share up-to-date CAD and Revit files for engineering uses. They knew that if the designer specifies their product in design stage, it's more likely that it ends up to be actually on the end up to the site as well. So direct into the sale. And one of the challenges what they had was also to how to keep that content. They had already lots of content available, but how to keep that content up to date for every user. And that's where our solution is also based on. But a bit of from the history, from the top, our visual identity has been changed a bit among the years. We had actually another update in 2013, but now it's evolving because now, since Byggfakta Group came as partner to ProdLib in 2019, we are on a road, and now we are fully owned by Byggfakta, which is rebranding itself as a Habexo. So now the visual identity will be harmonized accordingly. So starting from Finland as a three persons developing and sharing content, now we are part of a pretty much global organization of Habexo, with operating in I think 28 countries, if I recall correctly, and to having various services related to, from specification to marketing of and generally providing different kind of data around the construction business. A bit how we started how many customers and what kind of content we have. The first library, as I mentioned, was for Peikko in October 2014. First 5 years it took us to, it took 5 years for us to get about 50 customers, so that we had content, CAD and BIM files, and the speed has been going up. At the moment we have about 150 manufacturers sharing CAD BIM files through our service, and the number is increasing. We just started basically promoting and selling ProdLib service in other Nordic countries just in beginning of September, so it's going nicely forward. We've also started from the simple. We started with sharing AutoCAD and Revit files. We extended the support to ArchiCAD, BricsCAD, CAD, SketchUp, Tekla. So the idea would be that it doesn't matter whom, if you're targeting architects or engineers in the building project, and it doesn't matter where, we can just say, okay, we know that the architects in Sweden are using mainly Revit and ArchiCAD, so you need to create content in those formats in order to be able to serve them properly. So that's what you need to do. So we know what the users use and where, and then we can create the content accordingly. And still from the sort of the functionalities point of view, starting from basically file sharing of these files, developing it further to be able to support more complicated solutions by like sharing real material data, walls, or other multi-layer structures, up to nowadays what we can handle is very complex solutions, stairs, railings, glazings, pretty much you name it. So if you can create rules for a building or building part, is it a balcony with a glazing and slab and reinforcements, it can be handled parametrically so that it works properly for the designer. So pretty complex solutions, even though the reality is lots still about simple CAD files and BIM files that are used in every day. Some numbers still. So we have about 150 brands or manufacturers in our service. I suppose we have done something correctly, because our annual renewal rate is for our customers is about 98%. So our customers are pretty loyal. Hopefully, we have done something. We can help them in something to fulfill the expectation. Currently, we reach in the Nordics over 30,000 designers. And the designers are building designers. So we are talking about architects, structural engineers, design assistants, and students of those fields. Students are actually a really important user group for us, because we know that if we have a 30-year-old experienced designer in an architect office, it's really difficult to change their mind of how, or the work expectation, how should they operate in the future. But if we have a young student eager to learn new things, and we can teach them and show them that how you can use ProdLib service and the manufacturer's content easily, they are really eager to adopt those ones and also take them to their working lives once they graduate. So that's a really important for us. And yearly, at the moment, we have about 350,000 different kind of what we call as an installation. Somebody adds a window, a door, a balcony, a stair, bolt, whatever it's the product. So those have been done more than 1,500 products per day to some design projects. So it's the users are really active. So I think this is the question we face when talking with the customers quite a lot. Why should we support for designers? I mean, the architect, they are not buying anything from us, or the engineers, they just do the drawings, or they calculate the strength analysis for that one, but they don't buy anything. Some manufacturers, or many have already realized that actually they are the ones who specify quite commonly the solution what is ending up to go to the site. It's quite common the architect to say that is there a glazing in a balcony or not, or is it a timber structure or steel structure or concrete element structure. They make those decisions every day in the projects. So there have been several studies actually around on the theme. One has been done in the Tampere University of Technology some years ago, and if checking, is it the authorities, the contractor, all the disciplines in the building project, calculating architect plus engineer, they were the individual biggest, they had the biggest influence in the selection of materials and products being used in the projects. So they are really important, even if they don't buy, they define. And yeah,
I will add the poll now.
Okay. Okay, so now there's a poll. So should be coming some questions.
It's just short. Do you know how designers use BIM files in their work? So just have like a pre-thought about before we go into how they actually do it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Good. So please just answer the poll. It's just helpful for us also to further develop our service and how to make it better. But at the same time, about the example for the architect or for the engineer who is working on the project, if they have a solution, let's say that they need to I'm making drawings of a normal residential house, and I need to finish it. I need to do windows and doors still do. I have otherwise the walls and roofs and everything's done, but I need to add the windows and doors to my project. Do I do it manually by drawing it really from bits and pieces, or if I have some ready content available, knowing that that product actually works and it can be delivered because it's a real product, that actually even saves my time. The manual work, I can spend easily a couple of hours or even a day for doing it, or taking a ready solution where I know that it's accurate, taking a few minutes. Which one would you choose? If it's out of your working time. I think everybody knows the answer to what is that one. So they really can make a difference. I have a reminder here in the slide here. I was participating in another webinar with one of our customers just this week, and as part of that webinar, they also had a couple of polls there, and I thought that there's a couple of interesting things that would be also nice to know for you. I hope I don't know how public this is, but I was part of the webinar, so I just take the privilege of using it. So these were questions for. I mean, the webinar was for architects and engineers purely. We had there about 150 registrations of the webinar, and these are the polls what they answered about the questions. So first one was about the usage of BIM as in the everyday working. Majority was using already BIM as a working tool. Then sometimes, and then few that didn't use it yet. So traditional AutoCAD, CAD 2D drawings. Asking also about the software what they were using. Revit was the most used BIM software in this one. This is also supported by the webinar that we had earlier today for designers, where the Revit was the most used content. So if you talk about Nordic region, for example, it's and you want to have the biggest visibility for your products, Revit is an excellent platform to start with. Of course, if you want to complement it, then you can also continue to ArchiCAD, Tekla, SketchUp additional. But That's also something we can help. But then this is the most interesting of these all. There's lots of discussion, and I know that there are different requirements in different countries and projects, but question to the designers themselves. Do you frequently use manufacturer-provided models in your projects? Yes, was and sometimes were the answers that were the most popular. So no and no were just a couple of them. So they do use it, and I dare to say that one of the big reasons is that they know that those products actually can be, and those solutions are available, and they can be used. So and it's faster for them to use it if the content is ready. So that's it from that one. Let's jump back to here. I'll go back to presentation mode and jump a couple of slides. Where was I? Yeah, here. Okay. So if it's more as covered that it's pretty important to support the designers. How do you do it? There's lots of different kind of material in different quality of material available. Some are very how shall I put it politely, limited with the content that they share, maybe being even afraid that if we provide a BIM files or CAD files, that what if some competitor will copy it? But then again, couldn't the competitor go and buy the product and get all the information from that one if they really want for it? And the other thing is also that, I mean, can you is that the right way of going it, to be share content and support openly, or trying to be limited the solution? But when trying to support the designers, there are few important questions that you should always try to consider. One of the things is that we come almost in every discussion when we talk with the manufacturer. We talk about very specific products and very specific solutions. And as a manufacturer or owner or brand, you typically know all the products and the product codes and so on. But do the external users know it? So how is it that you can make it easier for them to use? And here's just a few questions that is really important to think and understand when you are planning to develop support material for designers. Who is the target user of the products? That's one of the first and the most important things. You might have a 3D model made for your production purposes available, and they say, yeah, we have a BIM file for architects. But I can assure that the architect is not interested of a manufacturing model showing all the screws and holes and weldings and all the small details. They want to have a big scale product that has the overall dimensions, colors, materials, and so on defined. So understand who is the user of that content. The next one is that how do they operate? So what is it? What are the software that they use? What is the level of detail that the information should have or the object should have? So I mean, don't try to develop something super fancy and detailed for something that needs just a space reservation or correct colors and visual appearances. So really understand that what is the use case of that one for the external designer. How do they find the content? Almost every time, every discussion with manufacturers, yeah, we have brought materials on our web pages. Okay, cool. Do the designers find your web page, or do the designers find the material on your web page? And if they find it, how many times do they use it? Is it up to date? If they download it, will they come again to your page to find the new products and new content? I mean, there are thousands and thousands and thousands of web pages and manufacturers and products and product options. They can't spend hours on the everyday working of searching these things. So you need to be easily accessible. So it's, I think I can show quite nice statistics later on about the usage, that how well designers find the content from different services. So let's get to that one soon. Couple of more slides, then I'll go to that one. Sorry about this ones. Something about ProdLib and how we differentiate and how we try to operate. One of the key things is that we always try to concentrate that exactly these. Some of those questions that I already highlighted, that who is the end user of it, how do they know what is available, and what selections can they make. If it's a Revit file or if it's an ArchiCAD file or a Tekla file, that should not be the important thing. It should be that they find the product and the solution what they are needing, not the actual file. The file will be then, of course, the outcome what they need in the end, but it should be based on the need what they have on the project. And we can support that quite nicely. I'll show that in a moment. Of course, helping when they are done properly, then they can be used the products in managing the projects, getting quantity takeoffs, bills of materials. Objects can contain information about CO2 emissions of the product if it's available, or other technical information that is relevant for that case. I think I will jump these ones already. Well, yeah, I will show these ones in real life, how to get access to that one. And of course, the reporting also to get analytics of the usage. And this one also I'll show in the live case. But yeah, let's jump here. Enough of PowerPoints, already talked too much of it. For the users, we have basically two methods of sharing the content. And we're talking about exactly CAD and BIM files and their technical information. The first place where they typically come is our web page. So it's ProdLib.com, and it's every manufacturer have their own ProdLib.com/Hilti, ProdLib.com/Peikko, ProdLib.com, and so on. So it can be found from there. The users can find different kind of content with the keywords. So if I want to find a chair, if I know how to type it, let's see. Hopefully I find something. So now I can find something that has a mentioning of chair. So in this case, there was I can find quite a few of these ones. And if I then go pick any of these ones, it will actually jump to, now since I've selected a chair from Legolar, it will jump to the Legolar specific content, and I can actually see all the products we have available for them. So not just a random one. This is also a product that has different selections, different colors that can be shown also here. The files then, is it AutoCAD, is it Revit, is it ArchiCAD? They are then accessible on the right side here. So I can find what I need and then download the content. But this is basically really traditional file-based download solution. So if I, it doesn't matter if I'm looking for floor structures, or I'm now seeing all the manufacturers who are having some kind of content for the floor structure. Is it 2D details to support the installation on the side, or is it BIM files, or is it something else? They can be accessible through here. So this is simple. User does need to log in, but all the content we have is free of charge for any end user. So that's simple way of downloading content. Oh, let's find a bolt a bit. I think there's quite a lot of these ones as well. There are lots of structural content for, so anything matching with the bolts can be, and there would be quite a few products that can be loaded. So this is one way of sharing this content. I'll show something else what we can do with. Let's go back still there, and I will find one manufacturer that I know that has a well, they have lots of content. They also visible in multiple platforms. So Lehtovuori, or with the brand Finnbin outside Finland, they are Finnish manufacturer doing different kind of shelters and bicycle stands and garbage bins and stuff like that. So I can go and access. I want to have module. What is this? Is garbage shelter or bin shelter, and absolutely I would like to go this one. So I can find the product, some basic information of this one. The attachments related to the product that I could use in my own design are downloadable here on the right side. So this is available here. if I'll go to the manufacturer's own web page, sorry about this one, but I will do it in Finnish because I'm not sure if I think they have it also in the international page, but I'm sure that it's visible here. So this view here on their own web page in the section saying designers is having basically this is embedded the ProdLib library what we have developed on their own web pages. So if the user knows the manufacturer and wants to come to access the content here, they can go to our web page or they can go to the manufacturer's web page. Or now in this case, for example, that the customer is this manufacturer is customer also of Byggfakta. They are in Byggfakta, Doku and Rakennusfakta, that is the Finnish equivalent. The same content is actually accessible also through there. So it can be embedded to multiple sources, this content. But what we prefer and what our users also prefer is that we have a separate standalone application to manage this content and use the content. And I'll jump to that one, how it actually works. It's everywhere mentioned it on our web page is download ProdLib application. Doesn't matter where I go, it always says download application. So this is what we want to and recommend the users to use because we can get much better usability for the content. From downloading a file from here, it goes to my downloads folder, which I need to copy paste or drag and drop to my whatever design software, which is similar to any kind of file download based solutions. But let's jump to the actual application here. So this is now the application downloaded and installed to my computer. Again, free of charge for any users. So just feel free to test it. The installation does need admin rights for that one, but any usage of any content, any libraries, it doesn't anymore. So when the user is loads this first time, it's basically an empty platform where every user decides themselves what content do they want. If I'm an architect, I'm not necessarily interested of Celsa's reinforcement products or AYOT's anchoring bolts or other products that are more technical, more targeted for structural engineering or drafting. Whereas the other way around, again, the structural engineer might not be interested of HA's furniture and so on. So it's always up to every user to decide what content do they want to download. And when they download the content, like in this case, I'll open the first one, HA. So, and when I open it, this is what we talk about as a product library. This product library is a view that we customize for every manufacturer to have a brand visibility, the content according the manufacturer. And like in this case, this is the first part of the project what we have just released a couple of months ago, which is now on the progress to extend pretty much more. So the users can go and see that I want to have tables. Which table options do I have? I want to have plural table. Okay, the plural seems to have different sizes. I want to have definitely this one. And even this table has different options for the height and different options for the colors. And these are all basically configuring now the BIM model that is behind here. The attachment, the Revit file is here visible. I'll show the usage of it in a moment. But the view what I have here, this is the desktop application. So basically, let's open that same Lehtovuori that I was showing a moment ago. They have the library available in 3 different languages. So if I change it to Finnish, it would look like this. If I change it to English, the content is the same. It's just a translation. But for example, their technical sales representative can go and show that, hi, we have this kind of content. We have, for example, different shelters. This is a configurable shelter with multiple options, with multiple length options, and that users can configure. Yeah, how about that one? Would you like one? Yes, and then so it's quite a nice way of presenting the content. And this same view also works as the user interface for using the BIM files. So let's get there. I'll close these ones and I'll open my Revit. So this was the software basically that was selected as the most used design software in those couple of polls what we made, and we basically now For example, in Denmark, Revit is dominating the market in architectural BIM design. In Finland, Revit and ArchiCAD are fighting pretty much 50-50. In Sweden and Norway, I think Revit is a bit on a lead. So on a Nordic level, Revit has a quite strong presence. This is one example model that we've done to show a bit. I'll slice a bit of this building here so that I can see actually inside it a bit better. So let's slice away the roof from here. So instead of now going to some manufacturer's web page, finding some product, hopefully finding a Revit file, downloading it, then drag and dropping it here based on the file name, I can actually do so that I can open here the Legolar library, for example. I know that there's furniture here. So this is, I would like to add some tables. Okay, we have some options. Let's go with multiplex, and this looks fine to me. There was a couple of options for this one. The size of it, so I can select the tabletop size and the height. Let's take that color, and now if I'm configured what I want, I select insert. So instead of trying to find that specific version of the product from somewhere and then finding the file for that one, now I'm seeing actually the available options here directly inside my design software and configuring the one that I want, and then that's it. Or if I want to have there some seats, let's add Caroline chair with orange with seat cushions instead available, and yeah, that's what I want. Again, now it will be loaded to this project, and I can add it. Let's add it more or less there. My table is nicely in front of the door that I have there, but I can leave it. I selected the orange color, and now when I finish the command, you can see that it actually converted it to all the orange color as it was supposed to be doing. So simple, hopefully simple way for designers to find and add content to their projects. I have different objects from different groupings. So here is, for example, Korpinen doing different kind of products to support accessible bathrooms, and so I could find handrails, or I can go for seeing basins with different kind of options. And once I found it, select and add it. Again, no need to go to the different web page. Or is it a kitchen, or is it Polaria has lots of content for oh, let's change it. This is, let's use it in English too. Again, all the selections that are available. If I want to have a laundry cabinet, that's what I want, and add it to the project. Find what you need, and then the file is the outcome for that one. And absolutely, I want to add it. Okay, let's put it a bit more logical place somewhere here. There it is. We can also handle more quite complex solutions. One thing is different kind of materials. Let's take one example this is from Rookie, doing different kind of sandwich panels, facade claddings. For example, here we can handle, let's take sandwich panels. We want to have wall panels, plenty of options to select. Let's take energy panels, saving some. I want to have 200 millimeters thick, showing quite a lot of technical properties, for example, so it's easier for the user again to compare. Hey, in my project now, I would need to have a U value or sound insulation value, something. Is this enough? It's not enough. Okay, I can go to 230 thickness. I see that. Okay, this is the 0.17 is the U value. I can live with that. I could make selections. I want to have the external facing color to be red, something a bit more visual. Other section as we want, and then I want to have create a wall structure for this one. And now again, load it to the project. this is not going to be really pretty because I'm going to be doing a fence around my old building, existing building. So now these are individual panels with the correct color, and these are normal. So if let's do it so that I get it visible as well. I'll remove that one. So there was it was still sliced my roof, so it was also slicing my wall. That's why it was not visible a moment ago. But this is still Rookist panel with all the properties available inside the software that we just added there. Still fully modifiable. Or it can be, I'll show this one that is a bit more complex solution still. This was the leftover case that I showed that can be accessed through their own web page, through ProdLibs.com web page, or now inside the application. And here, for example, I do the configuration for this shelter. I want to have definitely two-sided. It's a modular with each module with a length of 1.28 meters. Let's put there's 10 of them in a row. Roof depth is also modular, a couple of them. Do I want to have walls there between the columns? Yes, I want to have hammer glass, so lasts a bit better. I want to have benches, and I want to see foundations. This would be my typical example of saying that, okay, this is great. I mean, actually, tomorrow Finland is a day off. We have a national holiday. Good for that. I get a call as a designer from the site saying that we have fellows coming to install the foundations for this bicycle shelter on Monday, that we need to get the foundation drawing. What are the locations of the foundations for that bicycle shelter? It's this, we have ordered the fin bin shelter that we need it as soon as possible. It has to be by Monday. So what do? I can spend my weekend trying to figure out the information from Lehtovuori and do the model by myself, trying to figure out that what are the sizes of the foundation, what kind of bolts do they need, or I can configure it here, the ready object. I select yes, this is what I want, and I want to add it absolutely. My lot is getting a bit full. There's the space reservation, and I'll escape the command. And now the configuration is basically being built based on the rules that I defined in the user interface. And then I wait for a moment and fill up the time with some nonsense here. And there in the background is my building. And if let's take that, I will, not that. I would like to see my foundations as well, because I think I selected those ones, if I recall correctly. Yeah, so now I took everything else hid, but this one visible. So now actually what I could do is to have a plan, just to create a plan view in Revit from this one, dimension the columns. It would take me 15 minutes to create the drawing and send it to the site and go home in time, have a nice long weekend. Everybody's happy, including my wife. So I hope. So, if the designer has a simple way of doing it or a complicated way of doing it, why would you choose a complicated one? Plus, as a manufacturer, you can make sure you know that if you get a quotation request of this product, you know that it's accurate, it's correct. You don't need to do any changes for that one. You can actually produce that building because you have defined it. So somehow we try to make people to be lazy. Maybe that's a sort of, yeah. But then again, the architect needs to consider this whole building, the whole project, the yard, everything. How much time do they have to concentrate on individual windows, doors, furniture, bolts, connections? If we can support them, if you can support them, it's a good investment. And then we come to the sort of the value proposition of it. So what good is it? Okay, you make an investment, you make a project, and you create BIM files, you do CAD files to support the designers. Who uses it and how do they use it? As I said earlier, our users don't need to. The application and the content is free of charge for any users, but they do need to register. So we know quite accurately information about that. Who has used the content, where, from where do they come from, what is their profession, what software they have been using, what products they have been using. So this is a view from our report that our customer have access to, of course, from related to their own products. So I'll update this one. So this is now, I'm just updating information from the last 5 years. So in past 5 years, we've got 59,000 new users, whom are as a profile structural engineer, architects, and students of those fields of structural engineering and architecture. We have some mechanical engineers, we have some landscape and interior architects as well, but I mean, it's building architects, building engineers who are doing them. From which these are the top countries. I mean, we have users from 70, 80, 90 countries. I don't even know how many at the moment, but pretty much all over. But Nordics, Baltics, and Northern Europe is the strongest areas what we have. What products have been used? This is pretty interesting. Based on 1.5 million added files, even though that there's lots of discussion about BIM, reality has been that 59% of all those 1.5 million files have been AutoCAD content. So that's something that I always also remind that don't forget it. BIM is used a lot, but it needs as a support commonly 2D detailing that we can also support, we can share in the same way as I was showing the AutoCAD part. And then the point that I was saying, asking about or mentioning there, that how do the users find the content and from where do they use it? So in this case, for example, in the case of what I was showing this Lehtovuori example, they had the content available through the application. They had the content available through, of course, our webpage, ProdLib.com/Lehtovuori, and they have the content available in the Byggfakta docu, or I mean Rakennusfakta in Finland. They also have it on their own web pages. And if we see all the products, where have they been used from? And I know that Lehtovuori is one of the really active ones who are saying that, hey, we have content for designers, also supporting the users from their own web pages. I will not show the individual numbers. I know what they are, but this is from overall. This small slice that I have here now highlighted, that's the part that has been loaded from the manufacturer's own web pages. 1%, 2% maybe. I know that in Lehtovuori's case, it's about 6 or 7% that slice. From our web page is this one. In past 5 years, it's 15%. I think if I would take it for this year, it would be about 20%, that one. And that also matches, I think Lehtovuori at about 25%. 84% using the application, using that in-software application. So if thinking of it, if you're a manufacturer and you say that, hey, yes, they find it from our web pages, and you had 100 downloads from that page, how much have you lost? How much potential have you lost? So we really do reach designers, and they like the application because it just makes it easier to use the content. One last thing, and then I think I'm actually done from my part. It's always, of course, the question: what is the cost and what is the investment, and how does it pay itself back? Get this business value proposition here. We've done a bit of a simple. This is not too complicated mathematics. You can just multiplying something. We've taken examples from different kind of manufacturers, and from these product groups, glazing and railings, we have 4 or 5 manufacturers doing different kind of glazing and railing products, concrete connections, general products, and so on. So as an average, depending on the product group, how many product inserts there have been per year or for this manufacturer. Envelope products, so as an average, there has been about 5,000 product inserts per manufacturer. Stairs, furniture, so they are averages. And of course, while the user base is growing constantly, it's growing. we know that if as an architect I add a specific product to my design project, it doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that it's going to end up to the site. But let's make an assumption that, for example, take windows and doors. So if there was 1,500 doors added as an average per manufacturer or brand to different kind of design projects, if 10% of those ones would end up to be actually on the site, so becoming as a sale, but you know better that what is the price of the average window, average door. I would say that it's getting closer to 1,000 euros would be. But if we use it as a 500 euros, this would already create a value of 75,000 euros as a sales. And the investment for doing that kind of BIM objects and libraries, we talk about 5,000 to 10,000 euros. I think that the risk, and this is 1 year, so I think that the risk is pretty small. Or if we have products that we know that are even more expensive, one balcony railing with the glazing, it easily costs 10,000 euros. That kind of balcony, and then we have a building of 4 floors with 3 or 4 flats per floor. So one project would be already having maybe 20 to 40 different balconies, but just this one as average 1,500 again added per year, approximately, let's say 5%. And this is not based on, this is just to throw a number. So this is not based on any statistics. This is just to show that even with these values, this price is 750,000 euros. Expecting that 5% of those ones would add to the site. What if this is 15 or 25? So maybe there's something to think about. But I think that we are starting to run soon out of time. Well, here are some brands what we have in our in the service, but I think that at this point I will say thank you, and if you have any questions, comments, feedback, something, anything, please use the chat and let's see what we can do.
Yeah. I have actually a question.
You do?
Yeah, I'm just I have like 2 questions.
Cool.
So if the manufacturer or supplier or what you want to call them, if they don't have like the BIM objects ready for their products, so then ProdLib actually makes the BIM objects for them.
Yes. Yeah, that's a big part actually of our projects, that we create the user interface for the manufacturers, and we can help exactly in the creation of the BIM files. And something that we can take a big benefit is that we know the architects how they operate, we know the structural engineers how they operate, so we can always optimize that how should they be done so that it really works for the users, for the end users.
And if they already have some design materials, they can use their current design materials in their ProdLib library as well. Yep,
that's also possible. What we will do is that we will test that it actually works, and if there's something, for example, recommendations that, hey, by doing this and this kind of small changes, it would work better, that we would recommend to do it. We always give it, because we can be a bit picky in that sense that we like, I mean, we know that if we have an architect who tries a BIM file or CAD file that doesn't work properly, they will not come back to use that same file and that product. So that's why we really always, I mean, also saying always to manufacturers that do less, but do it properly. And then you can grow it little by little that one. But yes, I mean, if you have ready content and it works, and of course there's rights to share it with different channels, absolutely we will use it. So yeah, good.
That was all for me, and I think the chat has been quite quiet, so there's nothing there now.
Okay.
To ask.
Okay, but then in that case, I think that let's wrap this up. Yeah. I will thank you all who had the patience of listening this and wish you all a nice rest of the week, and hopefully we will be in touch. So thank you.
Bye bye.